What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bourbon Buzzed and Ballin podcast. We're your hosts, Kolby and Dut, and it's time to rate that shit.
That's right. We got a good one tonight. We got the Colonel E.H. Taylor Small Batch, which is hard to find in North Carolina.
Absolutely.
I had to go out of state to actually buy this bottle, and I had to pair it with that bottle of Elvis to buy it at a decent price.
Oh, okay.
Because over in Georgia, they like to mark their bourbon up.
Yeah, they do have a secondary market that's pretty tough. Now, I know a lot of bourbon shows, tasting shows. You know, this one's definitely high on a lot of people's lists.
Everybody's real high on the Colonel Taylor. And of course, Colonel Taylor's considered the founding father of the bourbon industry.
Nice.
So we got our rating system behind us.
All right.
Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what our rating system is, and then I'll give a little more info on the Colonel Taylor.
Cool. For those of you watching, you can see the rating system behind me, 1 through 4. What we like to consider a 1 for us is a brown bag. That's, you know, on this bourbon journey, we're trying, you know, as we're doing this, we're trying to basically give you, of course, it's our opinion, but we're trying to save you money. So for us, 1 brown bag, that's pretty much the bottom that you can be, and I wouldn't necessarily go out and purchase that bourbon. 2, I think 2 is a funny category for us because we call it a 2 and it seems like it's low, but honestly, that could be like a daily drinker.
Right. Or it could be something that it's a good bourbon, but we feel like it's priced out of its price range.
Economics may have played a role in us making it a 2. Which,
if you can get a $40 bottle that tastes much better than an $80, that 80, we're going to rate that as a 2.
Exactly.
The value just isn't there.
Yeah. So 2's a mixer. 3, it's getting better. If we get you into a 3, you may not have just had that wow factor for the 4, but 3 is on the rocks. Maybe a high proof bourbon that we like to dilute. And then last but not least, the tried and true, and what we like to drink our bourbon here at Bourbon Buzz and Ballin, and that's a 4, and that is neat.
Neat. Yeah, absolutely. We want to taste the bourbon just as it is coming out of the bottle. And of course, we do like to pour it about 20 minutes early.
That's right.
Let it air out, kind of like a wine does. Wake up those tasting notes by swirling it. But yeah, absolutely neat.
And we use the Glencairn.
Glencairn is
combining with the letting it breathe a little.
Let it breathe, let it air,
nose.
swirl it around a little bit, wake it up. So yeah, that's the way that we feel bourbon should be drank.
Yeah, and I mean, if you wanna kind of join on the bourbon journey and become, not necessarily an expert, a little bit more of an aficionado in the bourbon, this is clearly our recommendations to you. Is definitely use the Glencairn. It definitely helps you smell it, and taste it and judge it.
Right, and you got to also get that first. I always tell people, get that first sip out of the way,
right?
Because a lot of people will taste that. All they get's the alcohol, they get the burn, they're like, nope, don't like bourbon.
Yeah.
But you got to take that one and then take a second and a third, and that's when you really can start enjoying what that bourbon is. So speaking of bourbons, like I said, we've got the Colonel E.H. Taylor Small Batch. It's bottled in bond, so it's 100 proof. It was aged for 7 years. Colonel Taylor, as I mentioned, is considered the founding father of the bourbon industry. So right after the Civil War, he purchased the OFC distillery and started making this mash and this bourbon. And of course now it's owned by Buffalo Trace.
Right.
And Buffalo Trace is the one producing the Colonel E.H. Taylor. Now it's made, I found this part interesting, the Buffalo Trace low rye mash bill number 1 that goes into Buffalo Trace, goes into Eagle Rare, goes into Stag Junior, is the same mash bill that they use for this.
Okay.
The only difference between, and if you taste each one of those, they all have a very distinct different taste, even though they're using the same mash bill. It has to do with how long they're aged, what warehouse they're aged in, and where in the warehouse they're aged. Right. So that's where you can use the same mash bill but get 4 different flavors. So I found I didn't know that this was actually the same mash bill as the Buffalo Trace. So that was very interesting. Also, I didn't realize that the MSRP on this, $40.
I know. I know.
Just like the Buffalo Trace, a $30, and that's a $40. You got the Eagle Rare $50. You got the Blanton's at $60. If you can find it for MSRP,
Right.
That's the problem. You can't.
Buffalo Trace has done an awesome job marketing.
Tell me about it. So, yes, an MSRP is at $40, but you're gonna spend anywhere from $80 to $200.
Yeah.
To get a bottle of it. I wound up paying $79.99 for it. But like I said, I had to buy the bottle of the Elvis to get it for the $79. If I would have bought it by itself, it was selling for I want to say $189.99, and I wasn't gonna pay that.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, absolutely, give me that bottle of Elvis. so yeah, the mash bill on this is 75% corn, 10% rye, and 15% barley. So they call it their low rye mash bill. Now, the aroma, you're supposed to get a sweet caramel, brown sugar, and oak.
It's not as much color to it as I would expect for 7.
No, it's a little bit lighter color. But it's a pretty amber.
Yeah, it's definitely strong on the nose.
Yeah, sweet, very sweet.
Yeah, that's a nice nose. I'm getting a lot more nose on this than I have on a lot of the bourbons here lately.
Right. Now, your taste should be like a caramel corn with butterscotch, maybe a little licorice taste. Now, this, I mentioned that Colonel Taylor bought that OFC distillery. Well, this is still aged in that same warehouse from where he was originally aging it. And that's like I mentioned, you get those different, like the Blanton's warehouse. Mm-hmm. It's the smallest one on the campus. Yeah. And I don't remember them telling us.
Right in the middle, too.
Yeah.
It's like right in the middle of everything.
I don't remember them telling us which one that was. Yeah.
Yeah, no, first...
Ooh, I definitely got that caramel up front.
Yeah, caramel oaky with a little hug, a little lingering hug, and as it's processed down, I'm getting still the hug is. Well,
and you might, and they said you might get a little peppery spice on the very tail lingering end.
Definitely peppery and spicy for me, lingering.
Yeah, and I guess to some people that tastes like a licorice. To other people, you get the pepper. Well, I can honestly say I was not disappointed.
No, not at all. There's some nice leg on it, too. Yeah, I think that calls for round 2.
I did go with a little bit healthier pour than we usually, usually I measure out about an ounce, but this one I just free poured it because I was like, I know we're going to want more than an ounce.
Yeah, no, I'm not even going to beat around the bush.
Hell no.
I mean, that's an easy 4. That's a legit 4. It's such good flavor. To me, that was probably...
That's right up there at the top of the list.
Yeah, that's probably the most robust flavor I've had out of a bourbon. I mean, I'm still tasting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, one more.
Let's go with a little more of this.
One more pour. I mean, it's easily worth the hype.
Yeah, and at $40, if you can find that at $40,
oh man, you buy as much
case.
as you can at $40. Honestly, if you could find this,
I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad about paying $80.
No, absolutely not. I paid $80 for what I paid $80 for. I can't remember. I can't even remember what I paid $80 for, but it's better than that.
Well, I paid I think $100 for that Blue Nun, and it blows that Blue Nun away.
Well, I paid $90 for the Jefferson's Ocean.
Yeah.
Now the Jefferson's Ocean is some good quality, but this right here, man, you talking about coat your mouth and just linger. The flavor.
And I love caramel, and that's the first thing that when it hits your tongue, that's the first thing you get.
Just the nose to me was impressive, because a lot of it just kind of smells. alcohol-y at first, but this one you can actually nose and get all the notes.
Well, I've had, I mentioned the 4 Buffalo Trace bourbons made from this mash bill. We've had 3 of them. We're gonna have to find a bottle of that Stag Junior. I haven't seen it anywhere.
We'll get some Stag soon.
But I would rank from that mash bill. I'd go Taylor 1, Buffalo Trace 2, and right now Eagle Rare 3. But I could see, if that Stag, if we like it, I could see the Eagle Rare falling to 4th.
Yeah, I think Eagle Rare to me falls on the overrated list.
Yeah, I'd rather have the Buffalo Trace than the Eagle Rare.
Yeah, me too. I jump on this anytime I see it. Mm-hmm. Especially if you can pick this up in a bar for $8-10 a pour.
Yep. Yeah, no, but that.
Yeah, definitely.
Colonel Taylor is definitely neat.
Definitely, Colonel Taylor is definitely worth the hype. It's worth even the secondary price.
And we didn't even talk about the old school bottle, the long skinny with the little fat neck at the bottom, and then it comes in the tin. So they even still package it like it originally was packaged.
This looks like the old whiskey bottles that you saw in Western.
Yeah, kind of like
stuff.
that Duke bottle we did last. It's 5-star all the way around.
Yeah.
Packaging, everything, taste. So yes, that is definitely one to find and get.
It didn't disappoint.
No, it actually exceeded a little bit. It's actually a little bit better than I was even anticipating.
I was ready for it to disappoint.
I know. I was like, we're going to build up all this hype, and then it's going to be a 3. But no, that first sip, it was a 4 for me on that first sip.
My mouth is kind of still tingling from it. I mean, it's only 100 proof, so
right.
It's not like, I mean, it actually tastes and finishes a little higher than 100 proof to me, but it doesn't have that harshness.
Right.
That harshness that 115, 120 proof bourbon would have.
No, and a lot of bourbons, it's either a sweet bourbon or a spicy bourbon. This has got both.
Yeah.
This starts sweet and then finishes spicy.
Yeah, finishes with a little pow on the
end.
Yeah.
That's
good
that's
stuff,
interesting.
man.
Yeah. If you can find a bottle of Colonel E.H. Taylor, and they've got a bunch of other ones too. Like they've got a single barrel one, so it's it's gonna get that specific taste from that single barrel.
Right.
I'd love to come across a bottle of that.
Yeah, that's gonna vary from taste to taste.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah.
Sweet.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, like we said, we're gonna take a week off, celebrate the Super Bowl. It's a holiday.
Yeah.
For Bourbon, Buzzing, and Ballin, that's a holiday.
Yes,
so
we're gonna take a little vacation time.
Yeah. So we won't be with you next week, but the following week we will be back at you and have some new stuff to talk about and a new bourbon to rate.
Yeah.
So be sure and tune in a couple weeks. Let me put our socials up there. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram. We've got a email address that Dut would love to tell you what it is.
Bourbon Buzz and Ballin PR@gmail.com. And also, we had YouTube. We got
YouTube, Spotify.
Yeah.
So check us out.
Yeah, smash that like button, follow. We always need those follows, like, and shares, man.
Are you gonna close it with the Taylor?
Yeah, I'm gonna close it, man. I gotta keep on with the Taylor, man.
That's right, because you was on some Irish whiskey to start the show.
Yeah, this is the Tullamore Dew, man. It's actually good, man. It's really good for an Irish whiskey.
How much does that cost?
Oh, this was like $28, I think.
What's the proof?
I don't even know. You didn't tell me I was going to know all that.
Well, you brought it up. I thought I'd ask.
I don't even know what the proof is. Can you read it?
My eyes ain't that good.
Yeah, no, I think it's 90.
Finished in rum barrels, huh?
Yeah, and it was good.
They like to put those proofs on there in small, fine print. So, all right, well, tune in. We'll see you.
Cheers.